It would be nice to allow our app to display tweets from a user. That way, people could keep up with our latest news. Let's see how we can do that with the Twitter API. Let's go ahead and set up the page where our data from the Twitter API will be displayed. It's almost to the very bottom, and it's right here. So where it says tweets page, then I'll just delete that and then do a div. The data role is going to equal to content, and my ID is going to be tweet list. So this is where I'm going to put all the content. And then I need to close this. I'll go ahead and comment it. So to learn about the Twitter API, you need to go to this page and read up on the documentation. So let's go ahead and get the feed from Twitter. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to add a script tag like I've done for the other API. So this one's going to go, of course, to Twitter, and then status. And then what you want to do is go to the user timeline, and then the user that you want. I'll use myself, Planet of the Web. And then you put a period, and then the file format, JSON, and then question mark, and pass along some parameters. So my count is going to be 30. I want to get the latest 30 tweets. And I'll specify a callback function of list tweets. So let's go ahead and save this. We'll open up our JavaScript file. And at the very bottom of my JavaScript file, I'm going to create the function called list tweets. And it's going to receive some data from the feed. And for right now, we'll just output the data to the console. Data. Save it. I'll go over here and refresh. And let's open this up. Right click and inspect element. And we'll switch over to the console. And when you get the data from Twitter, you can see that it comes across as an array. It looks like we have another console output right here. So let me get rid of that. So let's do search for console. And there it is right there from the Flickr feed. So save that, come back here, refresh. Just ignore that warning. So the Twitter API is coming in as an array object. So from here, we can get, for example, the text of the tweet. The other thing we're going to need in addition to the text is going to be a user picture. So you can get that by going to this user object and then finding one of these images right here. We're going to use the profile image URL, which is right there. All right, so let's go ahead and fill out our list tweets function. Go ahead and close that and minimize it. Go to the tweets page. Right now it doesn't have anything in it. So we'll go ahead and start by creating a output variable like we've done before. For one, at the beginning, this output variable will have an unordered list. Data role is going to be list view, and the data theme is going to be A, which is what we're using for all these. I'll close this out. So since we don't need an index like we did in other pages to columnize things, we can do jQuery's each function. So $each, and we'll pass it along the data. Plus create a function. This function is going to have a key and a value. And in here we'll create some variables. We'll create a variable for the text of the tweet, which will be data, and then the key, and then the text. And we'll create a variable for our thumbnail. And that's going to be data, key, then user, profile, image, URL. Next, we're going to create a name, and we'll get that from data, key, user, name. Now we'll set up the output. So first I'm going to create a list item right here. And then after that, I'll create an image tag. And the image tag is going to receive my thumbnail. And for the alt tag, it'll say photo of the name of the user. Then after that, we'll create a div right here just for the text. We'll close out this list item. Make sure I close this thing. And then close out my list item. Okay, so after we've gone through each tweet, we want to make sure we close out the unordered list. And then after that, we'll pass the output to the tweet list ID. # tweet list, HTML, and we'll send it the output variable here. So let's check it out. We'll refresh this page. And if we did everything correctly, you should see something like this. Since we didn't need an additional page, the Twitter API was actually pretty easy to work with compared to some of the other ones. Once again, we have to deal with the way it formats the stream, but since you've had a lot of experience with other streams of data, it should be pretty easy to figure out by now.